right, welcome back to Minor Emotions, the podcast. I'm your host, Herc. As always, reach out to somebody if you need somebody to talk to. Don't be afraid to reach out. There are hotlines. I can drop those in the description for you to reach out to via email, via phone call as well. I'll put that all in the description. Um, Today, first and foremost, follow us on Instagram at Minor Emotions, the podcast. Follow us on TikTok under the same handle. If you'd like to come be on the podcast, shoot me an email to minoriemotionthepodcast@gmail.com, or you may shoot me a text message to 702-525-6118. All right, man, the moment I've been waiting for. My guy. Hey, do me a favor. Go ahead and introduce yourself for me.
Oh, what's up? My name is David Boyce. I am 25 years old. I currently live in Chowchilla. As of right now, I work at a gym. This is actually how I met her at Olympus Athletics. So there, I just kind of do right now, just do some maintenance, but I used to also do some personal training there. But right now, all I do is just focus a lot on powerlifting and hopefully get into some strongman stuff later this year. Um, but yeah, that's a quick rundown of who I am, where I live, what I like to do. Pretty much everything around me is kind of just revolved around either the gym or, I serve at my church as well. So gym and church, those are kind of my two big things right there.
Okay. Are you single?
Yes, sir. Single, no kids, nothing of the sort like that.
All right, man. Listen, so all the ladies out here watching, you guys know his Instagram will be attached. I better shoot your shot. It's
Um,
2026. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Um, but is that where you? I know you live in Chowchilla, California. For you guys who don't know where Chowchilla is at, um, is that where you grew up?
Yeah, so I've been kind of up and down the valley. Like, I was born in Sacramento. I was there for the first 4 or 5 years of my life, then moved out to Madera for another year or so. Then that was when I first came to Chowchilla after that, and I was there for about, I believe, 9 years. Moved out to Manteca. That's actually where I'm at right now, just visiting some family. But that's where I was for 5 years. Moved out to Merced for about a year, and then now I'm back in Chowchilla.
Okay. How was growing up in Chowchilla for you?
Um, there wasn't a whole lot to it when I was growing up. Only because it's a pretty small place. Like it only has I think one exit. If you miss it, then you're just gonna buy past that town super quickly. So it didn't have a lot to offer. Even now, there's not a whole lot that it offers still. Like I know that there's supposed to be like I think a Crunch Fitness that's supposed to be there or like in one of the cities close to it, but there's not a whole lot going on to where it really has like a stamp on the map. If anything, like it's kind of where I sleep. Everything I do is in Merced as far as like going to the gym, going to like a Bible study, going to church, anything along those lines. Yeah, but Chachilla doesn't really have a whole lot.
Okay. Um, no, but what I mean is like, so when you were a kid, obviously it was a small town, right? Did it have like
Yeah.
that small town vibe where everybody knew each other, like as kids and stuff like that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Growing up, that's definitely the vibe I was getting from it. Even the student body wasn't like that big compared to other schools.
Well,
So everybody
how many was in
wasn't
your
really know
graduating
each other.
class?
What's up?
How many was in your graduating class?
So I was in Chowchilla's school program up until my eighth grade year. And even then, still wasn't a whole lot. Like, I think we may have just pushed a little over triple digits, but it wasn't until I got to the high school I went to, Stonebridge Christian. That was where those numbers went way smaller to where our graduating class was, I believe, 30 of us, or just close to that, like 28, 29, 30, around that point.
Okay. Did you grow up with your mom and dad living in the same household, like a nuclear household?
It wasn't until I was about six. So they were together until I was about 6 years old, and that's when they split up. And then from there, that's when I moved in with my mother, and I was with her ever since. But then when I came back to Churchill, I stuck around with my father.
Okay.
So I've been with him for the past couple of years.
Okay. When they split after growing up, having them in your house every day, and then they split, do you remember how you felt as a kid?
I kind of think about it a little bit, because I was like 6 years old. So at the time, I don't think I was really able to comprehend what was going on or like understand the situation entirely. Just, like one moment, where together. Then the next moments, I'm not sure like what's going on with my father. Like, how come I don't see him as much? How come we're moving to a different place and things along those lines? But it is something that I don't think hit me as much as a kid, but it's something that I'm seeing kind of backfire a little bit now that I'm more mature, now that I understand the situation, what happened back then, and looking at kind of ways that I dealt with certain things in the past. And I think I guess that's kind of how I'd answer that. That it was something I didn't understand at the time, but now it's something that I realize kind of affected the way I've seen certain things without even understanding it, if that makes sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. And what the crazy part is, you answered in that one answer, you answered like my next three questions that I was thinking. I was like, dang, you took my question. I gotta find another one. Because I don't know if you know, but most people who are watching this episode, they know that I do this off the top of my head. I don't have questions written down or anything like that. As you can see, like literally, this is all I have. I don't no questions, right? So I just listen to you and I ask questions based off what you said. So while you're talking, I'm like, okay, I got this question. Damn it. So good job. But so did you ever have any conflict outside the house at all growing up?
Not that I can think of, I was pretty sheltered, I would say. Growing up, I was in the church a lot. Like went to Bible studies throughout the week. If it wasn't that, then I was probably doing something with athletics. I played basketball, baseball, football growing up. So thankfully, with those two things in line, I wasn't really able, I didn't have too many opportunities to get myself into a whole lot of trouble, like hang around the wrong crowds and things along those lines. So definitely thankful for that.
So I know you say you're thankful for it, so that's good. But I was just gonna ask, in any way, do you feel like that being not being able to participate in some of the things that the other your peers were participating in, do you feel like that might have like um if you would have been able to do it then your life might be a little different, like you struggled in some areas because you didn't have those opportunities? Do you feel like that at all?
I definitely think so. Yeah, like there's some friends I still keep up with from both middle and high school, and some of them got into the wrong crowds and things along those lines with like going to parties, drinking, smoking, and although like most of them are like pretty freed from that kind of stuff, even now they say that like they regret making those decisions because of the circumstances that I was in. Because so when I lived in Manteca, that's when I was going to Stone Ridge, and Stone Ridge is in Merced, right? So because of that long distance right there, I wasn't able to make it to like a lot of those parties or things and whatnot to indulge in those activities. So I would say like because of that right there, it's a blessing that I didn't see at the time because I was young. I was like, man, I really wish I could have made it to this party, but like I got no way to get out there. But looking back at it now, I realize that it definitely kept me safe because I'm thankful that those I guess plans of me wanting to go to those kind of parties, like being those kind of activities didn't work out because it helped me just be on a good path that I have, like as far as still staying in Bible studies, still being in athletics, but now just focusing on powerlifting. So yeah, I guess that's how I answer that right there. That I'm just thankful that I wasn't in those kind of activities at the time and that I missed those opportunities.
Okay. Yeah, I totally agree. Uh, sometimes we have those angels over us and we don't even see it. All we see sometimes is uh we feel like we missed out, right? But not every experience is for us, you know what I mean? So let me ask you, so you've been in your church your whole life. Did you ever like have a break from church at all?
No big breaks that I can think of, like because even from my great grandfather down to my father, all served time as pastors. So that's just like constant in the house, getting the word in daily like that. So either it was there or I was going to again like Bible study at some point through the weekend. Even with the high school I went to at Stone Ridge, we had a mandatory Bible class. So that's 4 years right there of Bible education. And then after high school, that was when I started going to church like on my own time and not just like with my mother and my siblings. So I would say I've been in the church just about my whole life.
Okay. Um, what do you figure out how to ask you this question? Um, when it comes to going to church, right? How has that helped you, like with your mental health?
That's a good question. I think the way I would answer that is looking at, are you familiar with the fruits of the spirit by chance?
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So I would say that's probably a big thing that helped me right there as far as with my mental health, learning ways to be able to show love, joy, peace, patience, goodness, kindness, gentleness, self-control, not just towards others, but also towards myself. Because
Mhm.
growing up, like especially with athletics, I was always very hard-headed. I felt like I needed to like strive for perfection, and anything below that would mean that I was failing, right? So like a fun example I could think of was in baseball, whenever I would strike out, like I would literally just be hitting my helmet because I was mad at myself. And I realized that that right there, that's me striving to learn patience right there, learning that, I need to take more time with my swings or whatnot, learning how to love myself and understanding that, just because I struck out this one time, that's not the end of the world and things along those lines. So I would say with the fruits of the spirit, that was one way that I've learned to be able to help me with my mental health and not just practicing those towards others, but also towards myself.
Okay. Do is mental health talked about in church at all? I don't go to church right now currently.
Sure, yeah. So the church I go to, I would say that yes, it is talked about.
Okay.
And that was that's one of the ways, sorry, I didn't mean to
No, you're
cut you
good.
off, but like that is one of the ways that I learned about mental health right there, as far as looking at the fruits of the spirit, how it's not something that we just exercise onto other people, but it's something that we also need to practice on ourselves.
Okay. What do you do for the church right now? Like, what's your role in
As of
church?
right now, so as of right now, there's nothing really going on as far as I'm able to help anything big, at least. I know some people have asked me if I wanted to be like an elder or a deacon, but I'm not sure if I'm called for that position quite yet. But other than that, really, kind of funny enough, I used more so just use my physical strength just whenever they need help moving stuff around.
You're the
Because they
human
do like a
forklift.
lot of what's up?
You're the human forklift.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel. That's why I think right now, like my body's so beat up. Like, dude, I'm like I feel like I'm huge, right? But I feel like I'm beat up just because not only do I do powerlifting, but I'm also when people for years when people need something moved, they call me. It's like, dude, I'm not a machine, you know?
Right.
Let me ask you this. What passage in the Bible would you suggest to somebody who might be dealing with some mental health?
Hmm.
Put you on the spot.
Well, yeah, that's a good one right there.
While you're
You have to
thinking,
think about just one passage.
huh?
You just have to think about just one passage.
Like I'm just saying, like if somebody was like sitting in front of you and they were talking to you, they're like, "Hey, David, like I'm really struggling mentally. I know because of who you are and how much you know, church and just your beliefs matter to you. And just because of even when I was out there talking to you, you always found a way to bring God up, you know. And that's one thing I did always like about you. You never hid from that. Because there's some people out there that they shy away from their, exposing their not exposing, but like just portraying their beliefs. There's a lot of people who do that. You know what I mean? Like you would never know they went to church on Sunday, or Tuesday. You would never know that. You would never know that even like just by how they act, like they don't never show that. So then you've always been that person from day one, that just showed it. So my point is, I know that you would take it there for them. You know what I mean? And so what would you say to them? Let's go with that. What would you say to them?
Hmm. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to give just one verse because I would like to use like I guess entire sections because I believe that using just one verse it can be taken out of context pretty easily. But if there is like any books in the Bible that I would consider, I would think that Philippians would definitely be a good one. It's pretty short; it's about 4 chapters. That's a good one on just looking at the circumstances. So it's about this guy, this an apostle Paul, and he's writing this book to the church in Philippi. And as he's writing this book, from based on the context, writing this while he's in prison. And the book, if there's like one word to describe it, it is about rejoicing through affliction, because he's showing that even though that he is in that circumstance of being imprisoned, that he's in shackles, that he is still rejoicing because of the joy that he has in the Lord, and he is asking for the church and Philippi to do the same. And another book that I would think about would be so I would say that's one as far as mental health when it comes to, I guess, somebody that's struggling with that within themselves. But I just want to throw this out there: if it's somebody that's having that same struggle, but as far as not feeling like there's a connection between them and God, that I would probably say First John would be another good book to read. So that one is 5 chapters, and a lot of the same parameters as Philippians, as far as just being able to have hope and joy in the Lord, because for those who are His children, that He loves them, and that He, again, going back to the gospel, that it is Jesus is the one that saved them, not only from the spiritual death, but also from, I would say that it could also be for mental afflictions as well, because of the Holy Spirit that abides in us.
Ooh, I never thought about that. Okay. Learn something new every day.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
good question. Put me on the spot.
yeah, yeah. No,
Sure.
I'm about to put you on the spot again too, because
Let's hear it.
I just had this with my mom. Me and my mom and my brother, we were talking about the Bible, the chapters of the Bible. Do you know all of them?
Um, I mean, I've read all of them, yes, but if I can tell you every chapter,
No, no.
not quite as.
Every book. So like Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Deuteronomy.
Mhm.
Uh, I don't know them all, but do you know them
Oh
all?
yeah. All 66 books. I think I can give it a swing. Going from Genesis to Revelation.
Okay, hold on, hold on. Let me pull them
Oh
up.
man.
Let me pull them up. We're gonna do this live, man.
Whew. Oh boy. Alrighty. Oh man.
He gonna have a song and everything for it. Okay, yeah, there we go. Oh, let me get it pulled up. All right, whenever you're ready, we got it. We got it.
Alrighty.
Hmm.
So got Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Ruth.
Nope.
Um, at what point?
It's Joshua. Not then. It's a book.
Yeah, Ruth.
No, not right before Ruth.
Right before Ruth. Hmm. First and Second Samuel. Is it? No.
Nope. Judges.
Dang, that's right. Yep, Judges. All the judges at the time. Okay, yep. Dang. Okay, Judges. So then,
Ruth.
Judges, Ruth, First and Second Samuel, First and Second Chronicles, First and Second
Uh-huh.
Kings.
You got it backwards.
Oh, got it back. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Man, I'm doing a horrible job right now. Performance issue.
Come on.
Oh man.
After
Okay,
Chronicles.
so First and Second Chronicles. Oh man. Nehemiah.
Nope.
No. Oh jeez.
Hey, look, you got further than I did. I would have been stuck. I said Leviticus, Deuteronomy. I didn't even say numbers.
Oh, it's all good.
But no, I just want to see. It's no big deal, man. Um, did you play sports in high school? I know you said you played baseball. Was that the only one?
No, so I played basketball only my freshman year. Then after that, I played baseball for 2 years and football for 3 years.
Okay. What did you play in football?
Football, I was pretty much everybody was both positions. I was running back and linebacker.
Okay. Let me tell you, I think when you're growing up, right, you play sports, we always learn something that we can apply to life. Would you agree?
Definitely, yeah.
What's one thing that you learned from baseball, and what's one thing you learned from football that helped you be a better version of you?
I like that. So I would say with football, more so because of the coach that we had. I would say with that, it was leadership.
Okay.
Because with me playing linebacker, it definitely gave me a means to practice leadership as far as helping the helping the defense and making the calls, knowing which gaps to go through for some of the guys on the team. Just not even just that, but also there's times whenever me or a DB would have to switch because I had like the speed advantage for whatever reason. So being able to practice leadership in that manner was something that I never got to really practice a whole lot, especially through sports. And with baseball, I would think of patience, definitely
Mm.
patience, or like maybe discipline as well. Because I felt like with baseball, it was I was definitely not that skilled in it. Like because the only things I had in baseball was I was just fast, right? But when it came to swinging a bat, or especially because I was in the outfield trying to get a pop fly, right? Like I'll be able to run to the ball, like I'll be right there underneath it, but then somehow I'll just kind of drop it. but but yeah, like so definitely patience with that because after I do something like that, I'll just like feel really kind of silly about it, feel dumb, and then you just see me just out there just kind of hitting my head out of frustration. And then I'll just look back like, well, I mean, how often do I practice trying to catch a pop fly, right? And so just understanding that also, I guess that's also humility as well, and understanding that, I'm not too great at this, obviously. So I should take time, be patient with myself, and practice on this more if I want to be able to catch a pop fly or be able to hit a baseball. So
Okay.
those are probably the two things right there. So with football, leadership, and with baseball, I guess a combination of humility and patience.
Okay. And then how'd you get introduced to powerlifting?
So with powerlifting, so I guess the first time I got introduced to like any kind of compound movements was when I played football, and that was when Josh Amaral, he was our team strength and conditioning coach my sophomore and junior year, and that was when I got introduced to those. At the time, it was through CrossFit at this gym that we used to go to, and when I learned about those, I pretty much fell in love with it at that point. There's even a times when Fridays when we'll have our game day, instead of doing morning trainings, Josh would kind of take us through a little lecture on understanding muscles and understanding how it's getting broken down a little bit as you're working out, and how it increases in size and strength for your next session. So that was kind of my first introduction to it, and it wasn't until 2021 was when I went to his gym at Olympus, and that's when I started to get more involved with it. And then started getting into competitions, and that was 2023. And even now, so what that was about I think 10 years ago when I first met Josh. But even now, he's still coming to me, giving me new information about powerlifting and things along those lines. So definitely thankful for that. Thankful for that foundation that we had through that, and be able to expand on there to where I don't see him just as a coach, but also as a friend and a brother, for
Oh,
sure.
that's good. Much needed these days, especially. Um,
Definitely, yeah.
what, how has your goals in powerlifting changed from when you first started to now?
Hmm. So I'll say at the very start, it was just it kind of felt like I had to build a whole new foundation because looking at how my form was on a lot of those movements, especially like with deadlifts and things on those lines, that's again why I had to practice some humility, understanding that I'm not doing these movements good. Sometimes after a set, I'll feel my back kind of hurting a little bit, shoulders feeling a little jacked up after benching. So with at the start of it, it was definitely with just trying to make sure I got the fundamentals down. And now, what doing this for about 3 years, it's been more so of just, striving to get higher numbers, but doing it in a manner to where I'm making sure that I'm not breaking form, making sure that I keep reminding myself that I'm not going to be able to get numbers, all the time. Not every session is gonna be an absolute hit. There's gonna be some bad sessions, right? It's just a matter of being able to bounce out of those and make up for it on the next one.
Um, I totally agree. But also don't discredit yourself, man. You've been doing it for at least 5 years because we met in 2021 at Olympus and
That's right. Yeah.
we're in 2026 now. And you were already powerlifting because I remember my first day at Olympus. I came in and I was like, oh, so I had came from Fight or Quit. That's where I was training at in Vegas. And that gym is dope. And I really never been to another like really dope powerlifting gym. So I come there and I'm like, oh, and this is before all the work y'all done done to it now. I be seeing. And this was back in the day. Y'all had like some crazy equipment. I never forget that high up leg press thing he had. I love
Yeah.
I love that thing. I was scared of it at first. I was like, what the hell is this? And why are we so high in the off the ground? Um, but you guys had a dope gym, and then I was like, I'm not gonna lie. Then I was like, dang, I'm gonna be the only black guy in this gym. And then like the next day I came in, it's like God answered my prayers because the next day I came in and you were in there squatting in the corner. And the crazy part was like we looked at each other and we just said like a head nod, no words were
Yeah.
exchanged for like probably like honestly like 3 weeks. I'd see no words were exchanged, and then finally I don't remember exactly what happened, but finally I remember we were by the dumbbells and stuff over there, and we started chopping it up over there, and then that's how we became cool. So, but I think in my opinion, I'm gonna answer this question for me. How has powerlifting changed for me? Powerlifting for me has changed in my goals because in the beginning, I kind of agree. I just wanted to learn the sport because I came from bodybuilding. I knew nothing about powerlifting. My coach that I have still to this day, I only had the same coach the entire time. Um, and my I was his first client ever. And now, I mean, he got one, to me, in my opinion, probably one of the best, one of the biggest and most authentic um, powerlifting teams out there. He has his own, apparel and everything that goes with it. So I'll probably drop the link in there for him because I'm always trying to support him. That's my brother. But my point is, when I came there, I just felt like I had something more, you know? And so it was unfortunate that I had to leave. But all right. So when you were a kid, you said you had siblings?
Yes. Yeah. Youngest of about 12.
Wait. You got 11 siblings?
Yeah, well, I mean, some are adopted, but like with me being the youngest, I didn't know that at the time, so I still consider them my siblings, definitely.
Oh, well, yeah, for sure. You guys were raised that way. Definitely siblings. How was that, being the youngest of 12?
I mean, I loved it. It was always something going on at the house, so there was never really any kind of boredom going on. So definitely love that right there. Even now, all our connections are still really good and to keep in touch with one another. Yeah, I can't say I have any complaints about it. I really enjoyed it, definitely.
I gotta ask, what kind of vehicle did y'all drive in? 12 kids? Was it a 15 passenger
Yeah,
van?
so I mean, like, it's the same thing that my mother has right now. It's Chevy SUV, 8-seater. I mean, we have that, and then like some of my older siblings, they had their own vehicles too, so
Okay,
they'll sometimes use theirs. But like, if there's something going on to where like a lot of us have to travel at the same time, that was kind of a go-to right there.
okay. Yeah, because I'm the third of seven, and
Nice.
and I thought we had a big family. Holy crap. 12. How many boys, how many girls?
And so with me, it's 4 boys and the rest are girls. Yeah.
So 9 girls. What's
Yes,
what's
sir.
what's the biggest struggle you've had of having a sister?
Mm. Biggest struggle I had.
Like you ever had to like stand up for them? You ever had to like hear something bad about one of them and just kind of deal with it? You never had nothing like that?
This probably goes back to how I was seeing things earlier with I guess what happened between my parents as far as growing up. I wasn't really getting into the loop of some things that happened with them. So like by the time that I got the information of what was going down with them, it was years have passed. So I kind of had to just accept that it happened, that is in the past, and I can only just move forward from there. Really.
Yeah. Okay. No, I can understand that. I was just curious because I know me, right? Like there's four boys. No, 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 no. Three boys and four girls in my family, right? And I know me, like I've had at least three run-ins where I had to like defend my sisters, in some capacity, or try at least have their backs, because like my oldest sister, she when we were younger, she could handle her own. So a lot of times just kind of like having her back. But I know for a fact I had that a couple times, and I just feel like sometimes that's where as men like we start becoming programmed, that we have to be out here fighting for the women that we love. And if we don't, then we're less than. You ever felt that way?
Definitely, yeah. So I mean, it hasn't been anything like recently, but I know for one of my sisters, probably it's the one that's closest to me in age. She's about a year and a half older than me, so I guess the last of my sisters, um, our connection has probably been the closest, probably because of the age that we're at, how it's so similar. But tend to want to go with her for that reason in particular, just to make sure that whatever she's doing, that she's safe in doing so, that I'm able to just be on guard with her to watch her and whatnot. But yeah, so with her, definitely. With some of the older ones, it usually would fall on one of my other brothers that they would kind of watch over her, just because they've had that connection more with them growing up.
Okay. And then moving more into like you personally, right? Um, what kind of struggles have you had, or have you ever had any struggles, with just being, a black man in the U.S.?
There's definitely been some interesting situations that I have been put into because of that right there.
Right.
Like I know there's been some small instances where like I had to talk to cops a few times for like something that to me seems like a very weird situation that I don't know why they would want to talk to me with the things that was going on. But other than that, thankfully I haven't had any big issues to where like I had to uh, be arrested or anything along those lines.
Oh,
But other
that's a
than
blessing.
that, there's oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, but I mean, I guess that's kind of another thing about Chowchilla too, with the small count. There wasn't a whole lot of cops kind of patrolling around the city like that. Even now, like when I take walks at night, still don't really see a whole lot of activity going on like that. So definitely thankful because I know there has been times like when I was in Manteca, whenever I would take like a walk at night, not even that late. I would say it's like maybe 8:30, 9 p.m. And I have cops pulling over, asking me, what am I up to, what I'm doing, and then like I can see them going up and down the street trying to see like where I'm going and whatnot. And it was kind of annoying, but thankfully I'm not seeing that right now in Chowchilla.
Okay. Have you been seeing what's going on in the world with like the young kids, like the generation below you?
In regards to what exactly?
Like all the crimes, the shootings amongst kids, like teenagers.
Oh yeah, been seeing stuff like that, either like Instagram, Twitter, or just on the news. Yeah.
Um, what's your thoughts on that?
It's definitely it's heartbreaking. It feels like it's just feels like it could have been situated if somebody would have maybe talked to the person that caused those things to happen, that if they would have had hopefully like just a better circumstances with growing up. I believe that right there, what happens inside the household can be a huge factor into what goes on in situations like those. Either that or the people that they hang around when they're outside the house too. So it's definitely unfortunate, and yeah, I would say it would definitely seem to lead to one of those two circumstances right there. Either like how's life with them inside the house and the activities that they're getting into outside the house.
As a Christian man, what would you say? Like, what would you say? as a community we need to do to kind of like help these young men, these young people in the streets that are doing all this wild, crazy stuff?
Yeah, so I would say that like we see in Romans that the power of God is through the gospel. So I would say that with the message of Jesus, that he saved us from spiritual death, but not just that, but also called us to repentance, to turn from the ways of the world and to turn to a life that is reflecting him again, practicing the fruits of the spirits. I would say that I would say that is the means that we should use to be able to keep people from that lifestyle.
Okay. Now, but in putting that into action, how does that look?
As I look, I would say as far as like giving the gospel,
No,
just
no,
so I
no,
can be
no, no, no.
specific. Or
No, like so what you spoke about, right?
Mhm.
Um, how do we portray that to the kids and say, hey, like this is how try to change them. How do we put that into action to help them?
Yeah, so with some groups that I know of in Merced, they do have this thing called Young Life, where they do have some leaders that they'll go. They have a with permission, they are able to go to campuses for different high schools and be able to have one-on-ones with some of the students or group settings with that, and then even make like studies or hangouts throughout the week, so that for anybody that's maybe in that kind of lifestyle, that they're able to get away from that, or even just be able to talk to somebody about what they're going through. So I'll say that's one means as far as people that's in high school, and that was something that I went through a little bit when I was in college when I went to Modesto JC. That they kind of had that same program going there. Not it wasn't Young Life, but it was a different service that's specifically in Modesto. But
Okay.
I would say that's one means that I think is really good that I see going on in Merced.
All right. You ever been to therapy?
Been to therapy? I have not. No.
Okay. What's your thoughts on therapy?
I definitely say that it can be beneficial. I don't see anything wrong with it.
Do you There's some people who say that even people who don't portray, like for instance, don't portray any mental health issues, right? They say that every person should go to therapy. Do you think that's true?
Repeat that last part one more time.
They say that people, even if you're not, you don't feel like you have any mental health issues, if you just feel like you're perfectly fine, even if you're not going through nothing, they say that you should be in therapy talking to somebody. What's your thoughts on that?
It's interesting. Maybe if I hear them flesh it out a little bit more, then they could probably sway me in doing so. Maybe I guess that's a good question. But I never considered that before. But I would imagine for the person that says that everybody should go to therapy, they'll probably, the mindset that I'm thinking that they're seeing it in is probably there might be something about you that you don't realize with yourself that a therapist can help you not only discover but work through.
Okay. Do churches offer therapy?
Yeah, so I don't think that therapy is probably the word that they'll use, but as far as like being able to
Counseling
speak to what was that?
would be like counseling.
Yeah, I think counselors would kind of be more of the term that will be used in church. Not that they are against therapy or therapists, but from the churches I've gone to, counseling is usually the term that's being used.
Yeah. Uh, is counseling at church free?
Yes,
Okay.
at least
Well,
the church that I go to, it is. Yeah.
these probably got to just be a member.
Um, Probably. I would imagine that, maybe if you're new to the church and not a member, that an elder or deacon would be open to still talking to you. And then
Let me,
probably,
you remember how I
go
told you
ahead.
I don't go to church?
Yeah.
Well, I went to a church. I decided to go to a church up here back in 2024. Um, and that, what you're talking about, is exactly what happened, man. Big shout out if he's watching to brother Jamel Moore, man. This guy, man, I call my brother because I didn't want to go to church no more. I had a bad experience at church, right? And so I decided to go to church. I went in there, and when I was in there, so I didn't even make eye contact with this guy or nothing. He just kind of came up out of nowhere, and he just stood next to me, and literally was just he the whole service. He just talked to me, answered any questions I had, and then I ended up getting prayed for, which and then I became emotional because of it. He was there for me, comforted me, and then after that we swapped numbers, and I'm thinking like he's not gonna ever reach out to me. And this guy showed up to my house at like 9 o'clock. Um, he showed up around like 9 o'clock one time, dropped off diapers for my unborn baby that she was pregnant at the time, dropped off diapers. I mean, he's always checking on me, always still sending me texts and everything like that. I don't always get to talk to him or respond because a lot of time I'm at work, but uh, nonetheless, he still does it. He's persistent, and I know he's genuine with it. So that's why, like, sometimes they get annoying, and I'll be like, not with him, but like with certain people, like if they text me too much, and then I'll just kind of like, remove them, delete their number, something like that. I don't because I just know that our schedule don't line up right now. You know what I mean? So that's my latest experience with church, and it's just kind of like changed how I feel with church.
Yeah.
Um,
But that's good to hear, definitely.
Now, what kind of relationship did you have with your parents?
I'm still close with both of them. So when the split went down, I ended up going with my mother. But when I moved back to Chowchilla, that was about 3 years ago. I moved in with my father, just to be able to kind of make up for that lost time from when they split up back then. And so with being with him and then still seeing my mother, I strive to see her pretty much whenever I can. Usually on the weekends works best. But with that, I would say as of right now, it's going good with both of them.
Okay. Do you want to have kids one day?
Certainly not now.
Well, no, I'm just saying eventually. Do you want to have kids?
Good question. I guess I haven't really thought about it that much. Just kind of, I would say I'm indifferent to it. Don't really do a whole lot to strive to have that sort of lifestyle. But I mean, if the opportunity is there too, then might as well take it. But
Yeah.
as of right now, I don't see it.
Because I was just gonna ask. Okay, well, I can ask you this. Because I was gonna ask what kind of things you do you take from your dad when it comes to parenting. But just as a man, what kind of things has your dad like passed on down to you? Like to make you a better that you apply to your life today.
Yeah. So with him, even now, we still have because I'm sorry. So for the context with him being a pastor at a point, and now being with him, it feels like every day, every other day when we see each other, whenever we're talking, it tends to get into something based on scripture, and with that, it dives into other things as far as like how can we practice humility more? How can we practice discipline more? How can we learn to be more patient to our neighbor and things along those lines? And it's interesting in that relationship because it's not something that, as far as him just telling me about how I can practice those things, but he's also asking me, like, how can he put that into his life as well? So it's definitely a means of how we see iron sharpening iron and how we're able to just kind of help each other out in that aspect.
Okay, but like, what kind of out of his like his characteristics, like who he is as a man, what kind of things
Mhm.
have you taken from him and applied to your own life that you saw growing up?
Joy would probably be the biggest one right there, as far as just learning to rejoice in the worst circumstances. And that he also has been one to tell me that just understanding that with how many siblings I have, with being in touch with him and my mother, that even if my friends or whatever fail me, that I still have him. I still have my siblings that I'm able to talk to at any time for anything. So those are probably the two things right there. As far as knowing that I'm never alone because I'm able to talk to him about anything and to be joyful in all circumstances.
All right. Well, on the topic of being alone, do you ever felt alone?
Definitely, I would say there's definitely been times where even like in crowded spaces with people that I know, that there's still times that I feel alone, that there's things that is going on with me that I feel either too embarrassed or ashamed to talk about, that nobody can understand me. So in that regard, yeah, there's definitely been times that I felt alone.
So how do you work through feeling alone if you feel like the people are not going to understand you? So you hold it in. So how do you work through the problem?
So for me, I would say with going to church and hearing things about what happened to people, not just in the Bible, but even times when our pastor is, being vulnerable with himself and telling the congregation things that he's going through as well, that I realized, oh, this is not something that I'm struggling with. Like I'm the only one struggling with this situation, but my pastor's talking about it, and then there's even with some of the Bible study groups I go to, there might be somebody else that would bring it up before I do, and I'm like, okay, so I see that what I'm going through, it's not something that's just towards me, but it's other people as well, and that I'm able to be vulnerable around these people and talk to them about it. So I would say that's what has helped me with that right there, as far as feeling alone. So understanding that a lot of things that I go through is that it's not really an original experience. Is that more than likely than not, somebody that I know and I'm close to has gone through it as well. And I believe that being able to talk to them, hear them out, and having them hear you out can help both parties and be able to get through that situation.
Oh wow. You know, what's crazy is that's literally the premise of my podcast. That's the reason why I bring everybody on here, is that sometimes I believe, like just like you said, when we're feeling alone, the best way to heal out of that is to understand that you're not alone, right? So by you being able to see that, oh, there's somebody else who went through something similar as me or going through the same thing as me, that already should give you some comfort, right? And then by hearing the story, you relate to the story, you see that this person overcame what you think is life or death. It gives you just a little bit more courage, give you just a little bit more fight, you know? Um, and I think that's why they say it's strength in numbers, because, you know, when you're falling off, just seeing somebody else, if you're really a part of that team, you're gonna want to carry your weight type thing, you know what I mean? And so when you find somebody else who's went through it, you don't want to be weak, you know what I mean? Because you see their strength, you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I agree.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, um, when did you find out about mental health?
It wasn't until I believe it was my first semester in college. So that was summer of 2019.
How did you find out about mental health?
So it was in connection to, I had to take these classes because that's when it was discovered that I have a disability called delayed processing.
Okay.
And so with that, that's when they started getting me into like understanding more about like mental health, and that's when they started asking me similar questions that you're asking me right now. But that was, yeah, that would be the first time I heard about mental health.
Okay, so what's your thoughts on mental health now? Now that you've heard it, you've kind of like experienced it, became aware to it. What's your thoughts today on mental health?
I think it's something that definitely should be talked about a lot more, and there's great benefit in understanding it, even if you don't believe that you're going through anything that's draining you mentally. Maybe you're able to help somebody else that's close to you that is struggling mentally. Like a fun, a kind of fun example I like to think about this was 3 weeks ago when I was going for a two rep maxes on my SBD. I remember just walking in, just deep in deep in just kind of sadness. Like I wasn't really feeling it, and even with that, how you are mentally will affect how you perform physically and those kind of things. So even with that, I was already saying to myself, this is not going to be a good session. I'm just going to go through the motions today. But then a friend of mine came through and he just kind of had to snap me out of that, say, hey man, we can't have that today. You've been doing this for so long, like come on, just give it what you got today. And so from there, I was able to have it was a really fun session, but just something like that, even to where I'm not even sure if he realized how much he helped me out through that day because it wasn't just that session that went good, but it was like the rest of the day because the way the day started was it kind of sucked a little bit, and so that's what led me into having a defeated mindset before I got into the gym. But with him, because he was around and just being able to kind of talk to me a little bit, because it was more just hyping me up. I was kind of telling him the things I was going through. But with that, I would say that it's good for not just somebody that is kind of going through it, but even if you're not going through it, it could be very beneficial for somebody that is going through it.
Okay. Um, ooh, I was about to ask you a question you literally just answered. Um, what's your goals now? I know you said earlier it's just to get stronger. When it comes to powerlifting, man. Do you feel, let me ask you this about powerlifting. Do you feel like for you, you found like a sport, or do you feel like you found a lifestyle? Uh, like what's powerlifting for you?
Mm, I love that. So definitely at the start, it felt more just like kind of a hobby, maybe a fun little sport to get into.
Hmm.
But now it's definitely something that I would like to be able to take to the highest level that I'm able to. I love it. It's I so man, I don't even know how to put into words really. That's kind of my bread and butter right there when it comes to anything gym related. Because even though there's other things I do, because hopefully in October I'll be able to compete for my first strongman competition. So I am training a little bit for that. Even every now and then, I like to do a little bit of calisthenics. I think that stuff is really fun. But when it comes to powerlifting, that's something I'm able to dial in a little bit more because I wanted to be able to take it much more serious than those other two things with strongman and calisthenics. So as of right now, the goals I have for it, as far as how far I want to take it, I'll say just the furthest I'm able to really.
All right. But do you think that you found like with the at the let's just say at the gym you're at, how would you describe the gym? Would you describe that you found like, a good place to lift, a family, a brotherhood, a good team?
Yeah, I will say it's all the above right there.
Okay.
Yeah, Josh, the owner, Josh, he's really good with advocating things to be able to have the gym community stay together. Like even right now, they're doing like this 10,000 steps a day challenge, and every Sunday they try to have a little walk together, right? So like maybe they're going down Bear Creek or taking a hike somewhere. So just anything to be able to have that body stay together there, and even like was some of the holidays too. Like they'll have like a Halloween party there or like a Christmas party with like white elephants going on. So anything to be able to help keep the that community involved. So it's good. I love it. It's helped me be able to build a lot of new friendships to keep old ones. But yeah, that's how I answer that right there. So I would say it's all
Let's
of those that
back
you
up to
said.
the holidays. Because
Yes, sir.
we're not gonna bypass it. You know exactly what I'm about to say. Um, let's be honest about who I started the deadlift party there. That was
Oh,
me.
really?
Yeah, I came to
Nice. Okay.
Josh. I came to Josh and talked to him about it, and that's how that came about. And I'm only bringing that up because I should have won. And then this guy named David came out of nowhere and beat me on the dots. That's how you won. And I was like, this mother. It's like I only came up with it because I'm thinking like, yeah, I'm about to win. I haven't seen nobody in here really
Oh
pull
man.
too much more than me. I was like, I'm about to win. I was like, and I was in good shape then. I was a lot smaller then. I was like 220, you know.
Oh man.
Yeah, I was phenomenal. Besides I had the hip issue, but still, man, then you came and stole that thing from me and I was pissed. Oh man, I was like, David, we're not friends at all right now. I think you had that big old the marshmallow or something, the costume. You still there?
Oh yeah, it was a baby suit. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of where I got my nickname from now. What's up?
Your screen's
What would you
frozen.
say?
Your screen's frozen.
snap. Okay. Let's try this. How's that?
Wait for it. It's like a little blur. It's a little blurry right now. So hold on. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. So that was how I got the nickname with Man Baby right there. It
Man,
was yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, with that giant baby suit.
I wanted to put that. I wanted to put that on camera, man. Um, have you ever? Let me ask you this: have you ever dealt with any mental health issues?
That I can think of off the top of my head, not necessarily,
Okay.
but I mean, I definitely had like some rough patches, to be certain. Like again, with the stuff that kind of went down with my parents, but I didn't really see it at the time. It wasn't until I was older when I started seeing how that affected the way I view certain things and how I responded to certain situations. But with nothing of the sort there, there hasn't been a whole lot of instances where I've had some bad mental challenges.
Okay. So I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Oh no, no. Wait 1 second. All right. So when you come in person, normally you do these fun questions, right? Um, and basically, since you're not here, I'm gonna pull one for you, and I'm gonna ask, and then I'm gonna ask it to you, and you can just answer. Okay?
Alrighty.
No, I can't use that one on you either. All right. Let's see what we got here. Oh, describe positive masculinity in your own words.
Mm. Yeah, you're not wrong. That is a fun question. Positive masculinity in my own words. Mm. I would say it will be a representation of Jesus, really. Looking at certain things like we see First Corinthians, Paul gives an instruction to men to act like men and to be bold. And looking at how we see the connection between a husband and his wife, as it is with Jesus and his church, as far as the duties of the man in that kind of regard to love his wife and to be able to have a love that's sacrificial to where he's willing to lay his life down for them. So I would say that is probably the biggest idea of positive masculinity I could think of, as far as being able to be bold, to be able to show love towards your neighbor, and a love that's sacrificial to where you're able to give yourself to them, to where you want to ask yourself, how can I aid my neighbor? How can I be able to show love towards my neighbor?
Hmm, man, I like you know what I like, man. I like the fact that you you're able to dissect it, right? What you're saying about the Bible, and you're not just sound like a preacher up there just trying to preach to me. Because a lot of times that's how it happens, and then I know for me, I'll speak for myself only, but like for me, sometimes that'll happen, and then I don't know if it's like trauma that I had from church growing up or what, but I'll just kind of like mentally shut down, right? And I'm not receptive of what the person is saying, right? But I don't know. I think it's because of the way that you quote the verse, but you paraphrase it. You don't sound like you just kind of tell like Cliff Notes.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, like Cliff Notes. Like I mean, because sometimes you're quoting verbatim, but a lot of times you're just telling what's going on, you know? Um, and so also too, that's very impressive. That's just very impressive that you can just, remember that stuff off the top of your head. Because I know you when I was younger, they want us to remember verses, and I used to be like, I get confused. I get confused reading them right now. Let me ask you this. If you had one of your friends sitting in front of you today, right? And they were just telling you like, hey man, like having a rough day. I don't feel like I feel like I'm worth anything. I'm feeling alone. I feel like life would be better without, me walking this earth. You know, all of those unfortunate feelings that people go through. If you had a friend telling you expressing those things to you, what would you say to them?
I mean, I'll let them know, if they feel alone from anybody else, that, I'm always here. I'm somebody that I want them to be able to trust, so they can tell me with anything, because a lot of the friends that I have that I'm close with, that I strive to be vulnerable towards them. And sometimes I will say that's a push that some people may need, that if you're showing vulnerability towards them, that maybe that'll open the door to where they can be open to you if they have anything going on. But I would say that right there, just letting them know that, to not feel alone, because, if you feel like there's nobody else there, that, I'm there for them.
Okay. It's crazy, man. You're saying a lot of things that I say all the time. I literally said that because like sometimes like the guys who be around me, like, if I got my brother in here or something right now, if I like brought him in here and I asked him, like who's the most emotionally vulnerable person like man, he's gonna say me. You know what I mean? Like I have no problems shedding tears. I have no problem, showing emotional vulnerability around my guy friends. The reason why is because it's exactly what you just said. Like I don't want them to feel like they can't come talk to me because I'm this big buff guy in their eyes and I'm just so tough, like they don't want to look weak to me. No, man, that doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. And I want you to know that it's okay that you can come talk to me because I'm not going to judge you. So that's exactly what you said, and that's why I was like, when you're saying it, I'm just like, damn. All right, man. What do you think about the podcast, though?
I love it. I remember when you gave me the phone call and you was telling me what it's about and like the background behind it. I think it's a really good thing to do. So yeah, keep it up. Definitely, I love it.
All right. Would you come back and do the podcast again?
Absolutely, I would love to.
Would you ever think about doing a podcast with somebody else? Like what I mean by somebody else, meaning like me, you, and somebody else.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Let me ask you another question about that. Is there somebody out there that you would love to see be on this podcast?
Hmm. I mean, I guess I would say Josh would probably be a fun guy to talk to.
All right, Josh. I know he shared this video to you, so I know that you're listening. Josh, you heard it right from David. You need to come be on the podcast.
Come
There
on
we
now.
there we have it. There we have it. Josh can be on this podcast. Look, man, any advice you have for me about the podcast?
Um, Nothing I can think about off the top of my head.
I appreciate that. All right, so look, before we get out of here, this is the part of the show where we get to hop on David TV, where you get to be vulnerable. You get to be behind the camera, and I get to be in front of the camera, and you get to ask me two questions.
Alrighty, so the question I have for you is, as a father, um, how would you respond to your kids if they came to you because they feel like they're having something going on with them mentally, to where they feel like they're alone and that nobody can understand them, things along those lines. So as a father, how would you respond to them?
Well, this is a tough question for me because I kind of been through this kind of already. It wasn't my birth child, but my ex's daughter that I helped raise. This is kind of what happened with her. But I'm not going to talk about that situation. But if I had that situation happen to me right now, I would probably tell that kid basically like, look, you haven't even lived yet. Life is tough. Uh, you're gonna go through things. There's gonna be a lot of times where, in order for you to find happiness, you have to go through sad times. You want to find love, sometimes you have to go through heartbreak, right? But those are all things that's just going to make you better in the end. Because anytime you go through something and you come out on the other end, it's a reward, right? That's why the first thing I tell them. The second thing I tell them is that you're not alone because you're here with me and I'm always be there for you. Um, and then Obviously, if it's, I'll tell them, you got your mom. I'll remind them all the people that they do have that love them unconditionally. Um, and then after that, I would probably honestly get them in therapy because I'm not a therapist. I would get them in therapy, and I wouldn't settle with just one therapy. I mean, one therapist. I'd get them multiple therapists, not multiple therapists, but like I want them to be comfortable. I would actually sit there and talk to them about it, like not necessarily the details of what they discuss, but how they feel about this therapy session. Like not just accepting, oh, it was okay, it was a good session. Like things like what did you learn? Like, I mean, you don't have to tell me like I wouldn't want you to tell me like, what your problems is unless you wanted to tell me. I would have pulled that out of you, but like what's one thing you learned from therapy today? Oh, I learned about humility, or I learned about patience, I learned about, love, I learned about all these different things, right? Because then I know the therapy is working, you know what I mean? Because kids are, if they don't really want to go to therapy, they're very manipulative. They can be that way. And they could make you believe that they're okay. And in true actuality, they're not. So if I had kids, if my kids came and talked to me, that's what I'll remind them first that how they are loved. I'll remind them that how life is. Um, because as their father, I have to be real with them, but also learn how to try to understand from their point of view. And I think sometimes we fail as fathers when it comes to that. You know, um, we're so focused on being stern and making sure we do the discipline part that we forget to do the empathy part, the nurturing part. But also too, with that being said, and this is kind of like on a slight tangent from your question, but just because we're already on the topic, um, I think that that's also too a failure in, even if you guys are living under the same roof, I'm gonna refer to it as co-parenting, as a mother and a father parenting their child. I feel like it's a flaw that happens a lot of time is that so the man feels like the woman does, because of when the baby's so small, she's doing most of the nurturing, that we get comfortable in that. We get comfortable in that role that we're just nurturers. I mean, we're not nurturers. We're the ones who pick up the heavy car seat. We're the one who change the diapers when the mom's tired of changing the diaper and need a break. We fall into that role, and because that role is kind of like easier, we kind of stay in it. And then what happens is the mom stays in that same role as well, where she should be, and we grow up with this lack of skill, meaning like the lack of skill to show empathy to our children, or we if we have the skill, we haven't developed the trust already, like the mom has. You see what I'm saying? And so the easiest thing for us to do is to just say, hey, you know, be tough on them and be like, no, you need to do this, toughen up, all those things. When really that for them, they're learning. So for them, that's a tough situation. You think about all the things that people stress about in high school. We look back at those things and laugh like, "Psh, that was nothing," But when we were there, that was like life or death, and every generation goes through that. And so I think that sometimes, as I speak as fathers, we forget that, and we also forget that we pass down that generational, I ain't gonna say curse, but that generational knowledge, not progressive thinking, of that. That's how my father was with me, so that's how I'm gonna be with my kids. I'm gonna be stern. Well, be stern. Remember what you needed from your father that you didn't have, and try to be better. You know what I mean? And talk to the kids. I think that's the biggest thing is talking. So with my two youngest boys, that's one thing that I try to focus on is talking to them. Even now, I just tell them about different things with life because I feel like they're hearing me and their brain's soaking it up. They might not know it. They think that they don't think nothing of what I'm talking to them about, but I say it, to them so that way, hopefully, it sticks in their brain. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that was good. I like that answer.
I appreciate it. Got any more questions for me?
That's it for me as of right now. Maybe next time. Next time I'll have some more questions.
Yeah, and we gotta get Josh out here, man. But look, man, we didn't get too deep into your story. at all. I want to get you back on here and talk to you more deep into your story. But I just want to show my appreciation for you coming on the podcast, supporting the podcast, and just understanding the premise of what I'm doing here. Um, I just want to help people. I want to give people, like you said earlier in the podcast, I want to give people a platform to be heard, you know, and I appreciate you understanding that and want to be a part of that and coming on and just sit down and have a conversation with me, man. I did want another piece of advice from you before you go. Um, as a black man, obviously you're gonna have the generation underneath you. What's your advice to the younger black men that are coming up behind under you, like the next generation?
Mm. Honestly, I'll just stay out of trouble. Find something. Find something. Like for me, and it was Bible studies and anything with athletics, basketball, baseball, football. Now powerlifting. Something to help you keep your time better. Not to do anything you shouldn't be doing.
All right, man. Well, look, man, we're about to get out of here. If you guys made this far as episode, go ahead and drop me a green heart in the comments to show some support. Follow us on Instagram at Minor Emotions the podcast. Follow us on TikTok as well under the same handle. But to come be on the podcast, shoot me an email to minor emotions the podcast at gmail.com. And if you'd also like to come be on the podcast and you don't want to shoot that email, you can text me at 702-525-6118. We out of here. Peace.
Peace.